The Hill had an article that really got under my skin that I wanted to share with you. Look at this. Ex-Obama official trolls Trump administration. None of us needed lawyers. Here's what they say. A White House cabinet secretary under former President Barack Obama took an implicit swipe at Trump administration officials on Friday, saying he didn't know of anyone in the Obama White House that needed to hire a lawyer. Quote, I served 4 years in the Obama White House. I never hired a lawyer, and I don't know anyone who did. Chris Liu, who also served as a Deputy Secretary of Labor under Obama, wrote on Twitter, just thought I'd point that out. So I feel like this is like the low-hanging fruit and the shitty arguments that many partisan Democrats think, like, that's it. Like, there was an article I saw a while ago. The scandal under the Obama administration at this point in his presidency was that he ate a burger with mustard. Because Sean Hannity actually did a segment where he criticized Obama for eating a burger with mustard. But here's the problem with that kind of thinking. What you're saying is anything but Trump now is acceptable and is okay and is good. Now, if you don't believe me on that and you think I'm exaggerating, well, go look at how David Frum is now viewed on the left. Or not, the left is not the right way to categorize it. Go look how David Frum is viewed among loyalist Democrats. Go look at how Evan McMuffin is viewed around loyalist Democrats. Go look at how George W. Bush is now viewed. I mean, I've seen tweets and heard people say, oh, yeah, we want, if only we had reasonable Republicans like George W. Bush back. I've heard progressives cite a George W. Bush ethics lawyer to make arguments against Donald Trump. A George W. Bush ethics lawyer. So, I mean, that guy was okay with illegal war and torture. Guantanamo Bay. Was okay with one of the worst presidencies ever, but oh my God, Trump's the worst. So now the George W. Bush ethics lawyer is okay. He's in our circle of friendship now. Bill Kristol even. Bill Kristol, the man who's never been right about anything, that may be literal. When he says something anti-Trump now, you have partisan Democrats like, Bill Kristol, reasonable guy. So now neocons are reasonable. People who we previously viewed as war criminals, you think are reasonable? It's just sad. And then furthermore, look, that point is just beyond hacky because it implies what? Well, Obama didn't do anything. See, we didn't hire a lawyer or anything. I mean, I was there for 4 years. Nobody I knew even needed a lawyer. Except what happened under Obama? Well, for one thing, record deportations. There was a record number of deportations under President Obama. He took our intervention number from 2 under George W. Bush. It was 2 full-scale wars to 7 interventions. So he put the drug war, not the drug war. He put the drone war on steroids. And 90% of the people killed under Obama's drone war were civilians. So took interventions from 2 to 7, increased the drone war. Guantanamo Bay was still open on his watch. So how can anybody sit there and say like, well, there wasn't any scandals, there wasn't any... You have to understand, the way our Constitution works, you're supposed to get the approval of Congress for war. They didn't even bother. They just said, yeah, we're just going to do war in Yemen and Pakistan and Somalia and send the drones there. And then they said, but it's okay. We're just going to add that on to the authorization for the use of military force under Bush. So liberal Democratic president is just skirting the Constitution and saying, we'll just add more interventions and just add it on to the previous authorization for use of military force. That's fine, right? No, that's not fine. And now you set that precedent. And now Donald Trump gets to use that precedent for endless war. And we're only talking about that. We're not talking about, Edward Snowden and how he was treated under the war on whistleblowers under the Obama administration, going soft on Wall Street, not prosecuting anybody from Wall Street. So this idea of like, oh man, anybody but Trump is great, and wasn't Obama like the best president ever? Like, no. So now Trump is so bad and so far right that people say, hey, regular far right is fine. Like, Trump is super far right, but that makes regular far right normalized. That word everybody likes to use now? Yeah, that's what happens. That's now normalized. Center right, normalized. So it allows us to make excuses for not going in an actually left-wing direction, a populist left direction. And that's sad. So I just wish everybody would still have high standards. We keep lowering the bar, lowering the bar, lowering the bar, lowering the bar. And when you point at the boogeyman, that's the result. But if you realize the whole system is fucking you, and even the supposedly good politicians are not that great, that's the only way to get real change, is to be unapologetic in pushing for that change.